Hey, Daddy, this is the man of the champions, Bill Fonzie Alfonso, giving a shout out to
Something Else.
Something Else, Daddy.
This is Nicole Matara, Great Warrior Wolf, and you are listening to Something Else.
I'm Tony Cini, and you're listening to Something Else.
Hey everybody, it's Rich Palladino, the voice of New England, and you are listening to Something Else with Arya.
Welcome to episode number 227 of Something Else. Feast your hair holes in this week's episode as we take a look at Mid-South Wrestling and World Class Championship Wrestling from September 8th of 1984. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, I did not even think of something for this week, is the Shane McMahon to my Chris Jericho. It's Trae. Trae, how the hell are you doing today?
What's keeping him? I hope.
Motherfucker. This is what happens when you try to put drops on the thing during the show. Go ahead.
The flu shot to my COVID shot. Aria, what's happening?
I am fantastic. Thank you. How are yourself?
Good. Had a nice day.
So, you might be wondering why I brought up Chris Jericho and Shane McMahon.
I was
thinking about this the other day because Jericho has been off AEW since April, and This is his first break off AEW since the beginning. So for pretty much 6 years, he's been on pretty much every week the entire time. And one of the things about Jericho that made him so likable at times, and why he never overstayed his welcome. Like, you know, his longest run was his first WWE run, which went 6 years. And then, like every other time he came back, there was always a break in between that. And it was very Shane McMahon-like because I always thought that Shane was the most likable McMahon because he never overstayed his welcome. He'd come in for 6 months or maybe a year or so, and it would end with him getting his ass kicked, and we wouldn't see him for another year or two. And by the time he'd come back, he'd be like, oh, yeah, I like Shane. And then he'd leave around the time he'd go, man, I wish Shane would be off my fucking television already.
Because our esteemed Secretary of Education wasn't likable, showing up once every 2 years.
Admittedly, she was the babyface McMahon. She would come out and do things like put Mick Foley in the WrestleMania main event and things of that nature.
What a fucking bill of goods that was. Linda McMahon, a babyface.
I mean, you can't, book everybody as a heel. Like at this point, if you were to make only the people who decades from now turn out really are nice people, baby faces, you'd have a very small amount of baby faces on the show. You'd have like John Cena and Cody Rhodes, and everybody else would be a heel.
Arya, I'm alluding to the fact that she's currently serving the fascist regime that is fucking up the country for decades to come. I don't actually think that everybody should be a babyface or a heel.
Breathe in and breathe out, young Trae. Breathe in and breathe out.
I'm really fucking tired of these Nazis. I'm sorry. The last person that was as sick of this bullshit as I am burned down Georgia about it.
Should we alert the state of Georgia?
Look, this ain't a war between Texas and Georgia. It's a war between decency and filth. And there's very few decent people in Texas anymore either.
I swear I did not mean to set you up to say that.
I appreciate it anyway, though.
Yes. Oh, I don't even know how to phrase that one for the preview of this week.
Just don't.
Yeah. Let's just like wrap it up to Linda McMahon and put a bow on it. Okay. So before we dive in this week, I have something to share with the people. I was listening to the Booking the Territory podcast the other day, and I'm like 2 years behind real time on that show. And so they were talking about a random Thanksgiving NFL game from 1998 where legendary NFL coach and broadcaster John Madden. Now, I know you don't follow the fake sports, Trey, but you know who John Madden is, right?
I am well aware of who John Madden is, yes.
Okay. Well, one day during a Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving game, he was calling the game with Pat Summerall when something very random occurred on during the game, and it is wrestling related. Let's play the clip. It's about 20 seconds long, and we'll come back to briefly discuss it.
The one that went to Los Angeles?
Yeah. Tough to take a boat to Los Angeles. Trying to get the crowd going, and they're going.
You know who that guy was? That's a professional wrestler. That's Van Hammer that was doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I recognized him.
Cunningham.
Yeah. So John Madden, NFL Hall of Famer John Madden, knows who Van Hammer is, which, as I noted on Twitter, is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen this week.
That was pretty bizarre, pretty out there. Do you want to talk about the person who was affronted, the implication that Van Hammer wasn't noteworthy?
This, by the way, might be my most viewed tweet of all time. Was me retweeting this and saying something about it. It's at 40,000 views as of right now, and I can't tell you the last time a tweet that didn't include me being bashed for being fat and a pedophile because I'm trans got anything with near that viewership. Yeah, so somebody on Twitter was like, "Oh, Van Hammer was in WCW for 8 years," and first of all, no, he wasn't. But it was like, "Oh, Van Hammer was in a number of main events." It's been almost 24 hours, and I'm still waiting for him to list one. I mean, 0, I guess, is a number. A number of main events can be 0, although you theorized that he was on the show main event.
Oh, that was to pop you.
Yeah. It did pop me.
Yeah, I'm glad.
There was one person at kayfabe_Abe or Kayfabraham, which is a tremendous fucking name, if I do say so myself. Yes. Apparently, in his high spot shoot interview, and who knew that Van Hammer would have a shoot interview out there, he was friends with one of the Cowboys cheerleaders who introduced him to John Madden. And so like when Madden said that, it's because he was introduced to him like before the game started. It wasn't like,
phenomenal.
Despite what the 85 people who responded telling me that, oh, Bobby Heenan was on the All Madden team, it was not that John Madden was on his bus driving to and from the cities watching Thunder.
Like, just because you know Bobby Heenan doesn't mean you know who fucking Van Hammer is.
That's my favorite. It's like, and I guess like he was something of a fan way back when, out of Indiana, which actually explains the Bobby Heenan thing. But it's like,
oh yeah,
really, like people are like, oh, he knew Bobby Heenan was, so that means he automatically knows who Van Hammer is. So I remember somebody said once that because they were arguing about whether or not Ted Turner was a wrestling fan, and someone said that Ted Turner may not be able to tell you who the world champion was, but he liked pro wrestling. And that made as much sense as anything else. And I imagine you might be able to make the same argument for John Madden.
If nothing, even if Ted Turner didn't watch wrestling, he liked wrestling because it helped build his fucking network.
Yeah. In the same way that I'll say, who knows if what's his name, Bill Watts, really was racist or not, but he was smart enough to know that pushing the black guy as the main guy meant money.
And this I'm probably going to regret going into this. I have listened to Bill Watts talk enough that I have formulated. Bill Watts is what I would call quote unquote not racist. Do you understand what I say? What I mean when I say that?
Yes.
Okay,
you might want to explain it for our listener, but
Okay, listener. here's the thing. When you live in a racist society, it is not sufficient to be quote unquote not racist. But many white people just think that, as long as you're not actively participating in lynch mobs, you're not racist, but they still have like ignorant views about race and even if they don't understand in those terms, they support institutionalized racism. Like I don't think Watts was like I don't think he disliked black people, obviously. I don't think he thought black people were inferior. He had that kind of perspective, because he's still alive, right? He
I
has
believe
that
so,
kind of
yeah.
perspective that has been very common among moderate white people for the past, I don't know, 150 years.
There you go. Oh boy. Um, so yeah. With that said, you ready to jump into some Mid-South?
Yeah, before I've already got us canceled twice on this show. Go on. I don't
We
care.
we
I don't fucking care.
we get canceled on a weekly basis. We're still here. All right. So with that said, speaking of Bill Watts, let's go to the intro of this week's show, which has double the Watts. And by the way, this is going to lead into the introduction of our opening match, which has a really wonky name for what it really is.
Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome again to Mid-South Wrestling. I'm Joel Watts, and for my father, Cowboy Bill Watts, I'd like to welcome you. We've got another exciting hour in store for you. First time ever on Mid-South, we've got a triple tag team handicap bout with Hercules Hernandez against 3 men. We've got the Fantastics and the Midnight Express in a signing for the Mid-South Tag Team titles with some special stipulations that you'll hear about later. We've got 2 television main events today, including Steve Dr. Death Williams against Gentleman Chris Adams, and Terry Taylor and Johnny Mantell against Big Ernie Ladd and Krusher Kruschev. We also have Adrian Street, Hacksaw Butch Reed, and Buddy Landell, and to tell you more about this exciting hour is my father, Cowboy Bill Watts.
Well, thank you, son. And next week, Boyd Pierce will be back, and he asked me to deliver his extreme gratitude for all the cards and the letters. If you still want to send them to Boyd Pierce in care of Mid-South Sports, 116 West Breckenridge, Bigsby, Oklahoma, 74008. He was really touched because he loves wrestling and he loves the fans, and your response to him in a time of need and tragedy has really overwhelmed him, and he wants to thank you, and he will be back here next week. Now let's go to Jim Ross in the ring for this first triple handicap bout.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match marks the first of Mid-South Wrestling. It is a triple handicap tag team match. First introducing the team in the blue corner, 225 pounds from South Carolina, Terry Ellis. At 220 pounds, Salem, Virginia, Rick McCord. And at 227 pounds from Georgia, Paul Brown. All right, give me that thing. Let me tell you something. Something never before seen on Mid-South Wrestling. A 3-on-1 handicap match. And to sweeten the pot, if Hercules can't beat these 3, all of them, in 10 minutes, I'll give them each $500. This man, the Tower of Power, Hercules Unchained, Hercules Hernandez.
Okay. First of all, they called this a fucking triple tag team handicap match. That is a really stupid name for what this was.
This was in fact a what I would describe as a handicap elimination match.
Yes. This was Mark Henry versus Rob Echoes and the other 2 guys on that random SmackDown I was at. It's a 3-on-1 handicap elimination match. And I decided to channel my inner Vinny V anytime someone has a 3-on-1 handicap match, where I write, Hercules will wrestle 3 men with a question mark at the end. Because there's one time somehow his word processor put a question mark at the end of every sentence he did for an Impact review.
Okay, there were a lot of question marks when I used to write Impact reviews too.
Samoa Joe will wrestle 3 men?
Samoa Joe with a fucking sword for some reason?
Well, that really was a question mark. And we are going to get 2 TV main events, Dr. Death versus Chris Adams, and we're also going to get Crusher Darso's last match on this show. And by the way, Boyd Pierce is so thankful that in the past week you sent him a bunch of cards and letters, even though this was taped about 20 minutes after the last show where we were told that Boyd Pierce's mom had died. Hey, all y'all sent out those tweets and texts and emails, I'm sure, back in 1984 to let Boyd know that you're sorry for his loss.
U.S. mail moves very fast.
Well, it's funny, like, I know you can't always tell how old somebody is just by looking at them, but like I kind of assumed that Boyd was old enough that his parents had already perished.
Wasn't he like 50? Like last year? Didn't we look it up in like 83? He was 50?
Probably, but he looks older.
Yeah, I have a hypothesis that the reason that people used to age so much worse is that nobody before the year 2000 drank water.
I believe you've shared that one before. If not on this show, then on social media.
Yeah.
All right, so we lead into our opening match, which is our aforementioned triple tag team handicap match, where Jim Cornette will give each of men $500 if Hercules doesn't beat all 3 of them in 10 minutes. Now, to me, what that means is if Hercules beats the first 2 guys in 30 seconds and the third guy lasts the whole 10 minutes, that means all 3, including the 2 that got beaten in 30 seconds, get $500 each.
That was my understanding.
All right. Well, it's Hercules Hernandez with Jim Cornette versus the team of Terry Ellis, Rick McCord, and Paul Brown. And ladies and gentlemen, Hercules did not need the whole 10 minutes for this one.
He did not need 3 minutes.
McCord went down to the Shinnomaki while the other 2 were beating on him. And then Brown was accidentally suplexed onto Ellis because Ellis was standing too close to them. Brown went down next. And at this point, Ellis has 8.5 minutes to hold out. Now, at this point, I'd hope that, Terry Ellis would take a few laps around the ring, take a few long 9 counts out on the floor, things of that nature. Unfortunately, he didn't. He wasn't able to last, and with 7 minutes to go in the 10-minute time limit, Ellis was put in the Shinnomaki, and he tried. He fought valiantly, but unfortunately, he passed out, and Hercules was declared the winner. Now, last week, we theorized as to why Jim Cornette was wearing a mask, and one of us did say he may have lost his hair. And it was one of those things where it's like, it may have happened in between tapings, so we, as they aired, but we have to, whatever. But they say that Jim Cornette did, in fact, lose his hair at the hands of Hacksaw Dugan recently, and that's why he's wearing a sparkly Mr. Wrestling 2 mask.
Well, I was amused by the visual of, Hercules having the first guy in the Shinnomaki and the other 2 beating on him and just having no effect, and then the one guy and even less effect. That was pretty funny.
Yes. I thought it was tremendous. It's still a shitty Shinnomaki.
It is still a shitty Shinnomaki. Shitty Nomaki.
He set it up by doing an overhead wrist lock and then just kind of lowered his arm into place. I'm like, man, he should just do the overhead wrist lock. The overhead wrist lock looked better than the Shinnomaki.
I'm sad that we can't use Shitty Nomaki as the episode title.
Why not?
I think the YouTube algorithm doesn't like that.
Stupid YouTube algorithm. Maybe that should be the episode title. Stupid YouTube algorithm.
There you go.
Second. And I got to make sure to write Shitty Nomaki. Remember. I guess I shouldn't because then I can't even put it in the description. God damn it, YouTube.
God damn it.
So, all right. So up next, we have a contract signing for a return match with the Midnight Express and the Fantastics. Okay, so we're just gonna play it. And if you can't tell where this is going by listening to Jim Cornette talk to a much larger pedophile than the one on the other show, then I don't know, like this is the first time you've ever watched wrestling before, if you couldn't tell where this one's going. But let's go to JC, the ME, and the Fs, along with JR and the pedophile.
Ladies and gentlemen, the reason that we are here in this ring is to sign the contract with matchmaker Grizzly Smith for the Mid-South Tag Team titles. Jim Cornette's champions, the Midnight Express, the #1 challengers, the Fantastics. This contract will be signed here today on Mid-South Wrestling. But Grizz, there are 3 very special stipulations that we need to make sure that both teams understand very clearly. I know you want to go over those now.
I just want both teams to understand this. All you gentlemen, please listen close. You have asked for this contract in this manner. First, a no disqualification rule in this contract.
Just point of order, Grizzly Smith. No disqualification. Does that mean that if somebody was to use a steel chair or a 2x4 or a chain or a tennis racket or any of the other banned things, that doesn't count because there's no disqualification, or what?
Mr. Cornette, you cannot use any of those objects mentioned because this is for the Mid-South Tag Team titles.
Okay.
It is a championship
Counts
match.
for them as well as us. Okay.
No substitution under any conditions for any reason.
Now that means, like a couple of weeks ago, there was a cowardly attack on my man, and I had to make a substitution. Now, it goes the same thing for them. The 2 guys that are supposed to wrestle have to show up, or elsewise there's no excuse. The other guy will have to carry on. There's no substitution, right?
No substitution. A no-show. If one member of one team does not show, then say the Midnight Express don't show for this title match, one member doesn't, then they would lose by forfeit if they didn't.
Counts for them as well as us.
That's right.
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, do you all involved parties understand these 3 very special stipulations?
Now, wait just a second. And also, a no-show. Now, if one of my men should not show up, now we're the champions, so we wouldn't be able to defend the belts. Now, what would happen in that instance?
You would lose by forfeit.
Huh?
You would lose by forfeit.
What's the money here? Okay, but it still counts for them too, right?
That's right.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Well, gentlemen, if you all understand the contract and the stipulation, I would think we could get on now with the signing of the contract. Mr. Cornette, representing the champions, you're to sign first. So if you'll please do that at this time.
I have power of attorney for my men.
We understand that. Mr. Cornette has signed for the Midnight Express. And now the Fantastics will sign the contract. This match will be official in just a few moments. That's it, gentlemen, the contracts.
Now, just a second, point of order. I just want to make this clear. Grizzly Smith, this is irrevocable, this is irreversible, this is unamendable. There's no way to change those clauses, no way to reverse the order, no way to amend this clause in any way, no way to change this contract. It's signed, right?
It's signed.
Okay, that's all I want to know. We'll see you in the ring.
You just be in the ring, Cornette. You just be in the ring.
Trey, can you believe that the Midnight Express just attacked the Fantastics?
Yes, absolutely. So you had messaged me before I watched the show, and you said something like, I know you haven't watched the show yet, because if you had, I would have heard you screaming. So
yes.
when I started the show, I thought, oh, it's because it's fucking Joel and Bill again. Is that it? Yep. And then when this fucking segment happened, I about had an apoplexy.
So it is a no disqualification match unless you use the unapproved weapons, in which case you'd be disqualified in the no disqualification match.
What kind of puss brain shitheaded logic is that?
I'd like to think that Grizzly Smith fucked up and Cornette had to cover for him on the fly.
This is the worst thing Grizzly Smith has ever done.
Indeed. And I mean, I like this in the fact that, like, even the dumbest fan knew where it was going. So it's like, okay, like, we've never seen any of these contract signings before, so we don't know that they always end in the baby faces getting beaten down. But so they told you that, hey, we're about to have an angle here, people. Pay attention.
This was a hot angle. Very well done.
Yeah. So they waylaid the Fantastics with the chair. And then after the Midnight Express left, after Jim Cornette left, after Hercules left, Terry Taylor, who was a little bitch, ran in to make the save.
Well, there goes your narrative. He's still a stooge, though.
I would still call him a little bitch. He waited until everyone left before he ran in for the save.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. You're right.
But so yeah, the stipulations are, and I had to actually think for a second because I thought they forgot to tell us the third stipulation, but it's no DQ, no substitutions, and if for any reason someone cannot wrestle, that team forfeits the match. See, I thought that was, at first I thought that was linked to the second stipulation, but then I realized, no, that's the third stipulation.
Okay, so why? That just seems redundant.
It's repetitive and redundant. It's repetitive and redundant.
The Department of Redundancy department?
Yes. So yeah, they didn't say when we were getting this match. Maybe it'll be next week. Who knows?
Yeah, they didn't say.
Yeah. Or maybe it'll happen at in Oak City, at the Myriad Center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I know, right? All right. So after commercial, Watts and Watts have something to say about this. Let's go to Watts and Watts.
You know, a couple of months ago, we had a signing for a title bout because the fans were interested in the intricacies of the contractual situation on these bouts, and nothing like this happened. And Cornette, without a doubt, in his smugness, came out here and, like a Trojan horse, he set a trap where it stipulated no disqualification, no substitution, and a no-show clause as a forfeit. And he went over it and dotted every I and crossed every T, and then without a doubt that was a premeditated attack. And I talked to Grizzly Smith. He just come from the dressing rooms. They are unconscious, the Fantastics, badly lacerated. And Grizzly Smith was so shaken, he said, Bill, I won't even discuss it right now. I won't even discuss the action I'm going to take right now. He said, I'm flying to Tampa tomorrow to meet with Charlie Lay, the board of directors of Mid-South. I'll be going there. We'll have a decision. Cornette, you're not going to get away with this kind of criminal tactics. Right now, Joel, let's go to the beautiful Myriad Center in Oklahoma City.
Okay, so a few issues with this. First of all, what is Grizzly Smith going to do about it? In kayfabe, he's the matchmaker. And it is against his ethics as in his role as matchmaker to be taking out as punishment to just be booking the Midnight Express, in unfair situations. He's not able to do that. Then he's going to be talking to Charlie Lay. What does Charlie Lay have to do with it? He used to be the president of Mid-South Sports, but it's been known for a year on this show that Bill Watts is the president of Mid-South Sports. So why does he have to fly to Tampa to meet with Charlie Lay? Why can't he fly to Shreveport and meet with Bill Watts?
Because Bill forgot that they did that.
That's the real answer.
Yeah.
I was on the Gilmore Girls subreddit the other day, and someone asked, why was Rory chosen to do something instead of Paris? And my answer was, because Rory's a main character and Paris isn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's just where I was at. That was just me complaining. And also the Fantastics are unconscious, and instead of taking them to the hospital, or taking them somewhere with like actual medical professionals. We've just dumped them in the babyface half of the locker room.
Yeah, sack of shit. Go bleed somewhere else.
Is it possible that they got confused that Steve Williams doesn't really have a doctorate?
Well, they should know he just graduated from undergrad. You would think they would know.
I mean, he's a college football player, so it's possible he went to school for 8 or 9 years, so we never know.
I don't think you have that much eligibility.
You don't, unless it's COVID and you get an extra year, but
yeah,
no.
that's valid.
No, that's real. They gave everybody a either 5th or 6th year, depending on your situation. But so anyway, that's a feud that's coming, or not a feud, that's already a feud. That's a match that's coming. From here, instead of having a match in the beautiful Irish McNeil Boys Club in Shreveport, Louisiana, we are magically whisked away via the magic of television to the Myriad Center in Oklahoma City for a match between the Dr. Death helmet holder, Dr. Death Steve Williams, versus Gentleman Chris Adams. Now, I would assume that because, Chris Adams is based out of Dallas and Doc is based out of, Louisiana, that the negotiations between the representatives for both sides led to them wanting to face each other in a neutral site. And, Oklahoma City is as close to a neutral site as you're going to get at this point.
So Doc had the TV title medal, which led me to wonder, did he win it, or was this before they forced him to return it? And I still don't know, because later Terry Taylor was announced as a TV champion but did not have the medal.
I'll be honest, I didn't even notice the medal in either situation.
Yes, Doc had the medal and not the helmet, so this was probably taped before they did all that.
Yeah. Well, I did ask, was the helmet on the line here? I assumed it was. Maybe it might have been the linear Dr. Death helmet on the line.
The linear Dr. Death helmet. That's yeah. Well, it's moot because
that is a real thing, apparently, the linear Death helmet holder.
I don't want to think about holding Dr. Death's helmet.
I hear you just have to rub it a little bit. It's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
And Trey's now just ignoring me. So to continue me whining about stuff on this show, Bill talks about how the fans at the Myriad Center really enjoy wrestling. Does that mean the fans everywhere else don't really enjoy wrestling? And in that case, why isn't every show in Oklahoma City if that's where the fans really enjoy wrestling?
Because just because they enjoy it once a week doesn't mean they'd want it 7 nights a week. That's just not practical.
I was going to say something, but you were already in an ornery mood earlier, and it's best to not get you going sometimes, especially since we still have another hour of the show to go.
It's good that you know that now.
That doesn't mean I won't do it in the future. It just means you should be aware that, So now here's the thing, and I don't think World Class really takes advantage of this. Adams may be smaller, but he is very aggressive. At one point, Doc, who is, much larger, thicker man, they're doing the immovable force, meaning unmovable object spots, and Adams knocked down Dr. Death, and it was perfectly believable that Adams would be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. So at one point, Joel said that Doc, and I'm quoting here, gets really good penetration with his hips when he does headlocks. And Joel went to college with him, so I guess he would know, right? He'd be the one to know what kind of penetration Doc gets.
Oh, I'm sure. I bet they were roommates.
Yeah.
And those college dorms, a lot of them, it's a very intimate space.
Yeah.
So I was pissed at Doc because he stole my finish. If I was ever going to be a wrestler and someone, for some reason, booked me to win, Doc was getting beat on in the corner, and he swept the legs and put his feet on the ropes.
It used to be commonly referred to as the flare pin.
I've literally never heard it called that, but I believe you.
Maybe it just kept coming up as something that I used to read all the time.
We have a dusty finish and a flare pin. You know, I bet those were combined a few times.
I mean, there's the flare flip. Everybody knows that.
Yep, and then the flare flop.
Yeah. Okay, it was like SmackDown, I think probably Shut Your Mouth. That you could have like 2 guest referees. And what is like, even if you were a guest referee, it would still treat it like if you got bumped, you would be down for a while. And so my best friend and I would do these matches where he was Shawn Michaels and I was Ric Flair and we were the referees. And he would Shawn had this move where he'd pick you up and slap you. And then so he would do that and I would do the flare flop and then just lay there for, I don't know, 30 seconds.
This is while you were the referees of the match.
Yes. Yes.
That's tremendous. See, I always wanted the guest referee spot, but you have the guest referee and it's some modern day wrestler who obviously can take much more punishment, but they get bumped in the corner on the simple spot that knocks down every referee, and they have to lay there for a minute because they're the referee, and you lose your toughness when you put on the stripes, I guess.
Yeah, that striped shirt just makes you weaker.
Yes. I always loved, and I think we discussed this on this show. Remember the Hogan Andre Hebner twin brother referee thing?
Yes.
I always loved that Hulk Hogan knew which one was the real Dave Hebner because Earl Hebner shoved Dave down and thus proved that Dave was a pussy, and that's how he knew that who the real and fake Dave Hebner was.
So Hulk knew that Dave Hebner was a pussy.
Apparently, yes.
How about that?
I always loved that. That's because that was the logic. It's oh, I think we now know who the real Dave Hebner is.
Yeah.
What a burial of Dave Hebner in one night.
Poor Dave.
Yes, poor Dave Hebner. Apparently, did you ever read Jim Corderas' book?
Have not.
It's a good read. But apparently he was at that show at because it was a TV taping too, and he was going backstage and was trying to look for a closet to do something in, and he walked in and saw Dave and Earl Hebner hiding in a closet together, and managed to find out what the finish was.
That's funny.
Yes. All right. So up next we had Sonny King and Brickhouse Brown versus Bad Bob Owens and Han Schroeder. I like to think he did this on purpose, but I was unfortunately Bad Bob Owens was bad and did not pick up that he should just keep running. Brickhouse sent Owens off the rope, and instead of doing something, he just tagged out. And sadly, Bad Bob Owens did not just continue to run back and forth until something stopped him. He just stopped.
Too bad. Too bad.
Yeah. Yep. Brickhouse won with the drop kick, and Joel forgot to ring the bell for several seconds.
Yeah, that was a recurring problem on both of these shows.
The funny thing is, the bell was between Joel and Bill. So, I get Boyd does it all the time, but I could get while Joel's talking, maybe he shouldn't be the person ringing the bell when he's talking.
The fucking announcer there should be a dedicated fucking bell ringer.
Why couldn't JR ring the bell from wherever the hell he sits?
Well, well, that's a problem because then he can't do it to start the fucking match.
You could wait 5 seconds for JR to walk over to his spot.
You know who never fucked up ringing a bell? Mark Eaton.
Mark Eaton never fucked up ringing the bell. I'm pretty sure if I went back, I could probably find a spot where he did fuck up, but by and large, it's like Howard Finkel. Howard Finkel fucked up once or twice, but they happen so infrequently you don't remember them. Whereas like Lillian Garcia fucked up all the time. See, like it's hard to remember all of them.
And any bells that Mark Eaton missed were made up with the fact that he nailed that beer toss every time.
Yes. It's possible the only reason why he had a job for years was when we kept bringing back Steve Austin and someone to throw him a beer.
Yeah, entirely possible.
Yes. All right. So up next was a public workout. Butch Reed and Buddy Landel. Remember a few weeks ago when Terry Taylor, who is a little bitch, had a public workout? Well, Butch Reed and Buddy Landel found that offensive because they demanded equal time so they could have a workout. Kind of. Let's go to the workout.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 weeks ago here on Mid-South Wrestling, we had the opportunity to watch Magnum TA Terry Taylor and Tommy Rogers work out here in this ring. Hacksaw Butch Reed and Nature Boy Buddy Landel have demanded that they have the opportunity to show you people how they work out.
Ain't no opportunity. We're coming out here and taking our TV.
We work out. It's how to work out, period, you understand? But you know what we need? We need some competition down here to work out. There's a little jive sucker walking around here about 4 foot high, calling himself the Brick House. Hey, you are looking at the original right here. Where is this boy? Where did he come from?
Let me tell you something. Butch Reed didn't come here and fall off some pumpkin wagon and call himself Butch Hacksaw. He earned the name Hacksaw, and he earned the name Brick House.
Thank you,
There's
brother.
only one Brick House, and that's my
Right
big
here,
friend,
baby.
Hacksaw.
Brick House right here. Get Brick House found down here.
Well, gentlemen, I can't... Obviously, I am in the ring. If Mr. Brown wants to come down here, that's certainly his prerogative.
Get that boy down here.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I thought we were going to work out here.
I am going to work out. What you want me to do? Watch me warm up, man.
In a gymnasium. Hey, boy, come down here. Hey.
You will have to move because I want that boy right in here and prove what kind of a brick house you got. You know what you got, boy? You got a bunch of powdered cement is what you got. Mostly made of baking powder.
Tell him, Butch.
Get on in there, boy. That's right. Get on in there. Get on in there. Do some push-ups. Do some push-ups, boy. Do some push-ups. Do some push-ups, sucker. Don't be scared. Come on. Don't be scared.
Gentlemen, just stay back here. If you want him in the ring...
Hey, a brick house has got to have strength. Why don't you drop down here, boy, and work out with me? Arm wrestle.
He just ain't got no rough roast to back his mouth up with.
Well...
Hold it, Butch, wait. Hold it. No. Wait. If I let Butch arm wrestle this geek right here, he's gonna pull his arms out of his sockets. Butch,
Sure know what to say.
let me take this.
Go down there, show him what's happening. Show him what I taught you, baby.
Show him how to do it. Don't eyeball me, boy.
Well, Nature Boy Buddy Landel will be arm wrestling Brickhouse Brown, apparently.
All right. I gotta say, not like the greatest public workout we've ever seen in our lives. Although it's not quite Shawn Michaels getting hit in the head with a battery and storming off.
Hey, that was mistakes people there. That was Little Rock. And
well, that was no, it was a public workout. It was the WrestleMania 14 workout in Boston. Where,
okay, so the one in Little Rock was something else.
Yeah, that was the Riot.
Yeah.
That was,
and they did not go back to Little Rock for 5 years. The next time they went to Little Rock was No Mercy 2002.
And Shawn Michaels was not on that show.
He was not?
Nope. But yeah, so it was called a workout, but it was basically Butch Reed and Buddy Landel cut a promo, and eventually Buddy Landel had an arm wrestling match with Brickhouse. And I don't want to alarm anybody here, but Brickhouse won the arm wrestling match. Butch went for a cheap shot, but Sonny King ran in to prevent it, and the faces stood tall.
Good guy, Sonny King. What a fella.
Yes, I know. I hope he never leaves. Join us in 4 weeks when we rejoice Sonny King leaving the territory. I wonder if he's going to be buried on the way out the door, too.
Look, if all he did was make saves, he'd be great. Unfortunately, they have wrestling, too.
Unfortunately, it's not ECW where we take his match and chop it up into little bits and, see him do a headlock or something.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, lordy. So then we get Adrian Street versus Robert Christie. And I got to say, I liked the finish here. He figure four'd Christie's leg and bridged backwards for the pin.
It's a Gibson leg lock.
Well, it was, I don't know, I guess because of the way it was shot, that it was like, it looked different and wacky and new.
No, I loved it. I love Adrian, and I will always pop for the Gibson leg lock because that's a really cool pinning combination. Darby Allin does it. It's the movie called The Last Supper, and for Pro Wrestling Noah fans, Kaito Kiyomiya also commonly does it.
Nice. All right. So then we get our main event, our TV main event, I guess. It is unofficially a loser of the fall leaves town match with Big Ernie Ladd and Krusher Kruschev versus the champion of television, Terry Taylor, and our good friend, John Mantell.
I hate Johnny Mantell being in Mid-South because he's perfectly decent here and he's better used here, so I can't even talk shit about his booking. He's fine. He's fine. Johnny Mantell in small doses is perfectly acceptable.
3 minutes of Johnny Mantell every week is not offensive.
That's about the right amount of Johnny Mantell.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Yeah. Speaking of 3 minutes of Johnny Mantell, how is your All Japan 84 viewing?
I have not in a while. I have been very, very behind on everything.
It's all good. All good in the hood. So Mantell tried to do a Hurricane Rana at one point, but he didn't quite get up high enough to get his both legs around Khrushchev's head. And so it just kind of like was like half of a Hurricane Rana and half of like, he had his other leg hooked underneath Khrushchev's armpit.
That was this was a pretty decent little match, man. Everybody was working on it. Even Big Cat was feeling froggy out there throwing drop kicks.
Yes, he did jump because Khrushchev got pinned after a 5-arm, a side Russian leg sweep, and an inadvertent leg drop by his partner Ernie Ladd, and thus brings us to an end of Crusher Darso's year in Mid-South Wrestling.
And what a year it was.
I'll be honest, it felt so long. I thought he was here for 2 years. Because it felt like he's been here forever, but I looked back to double check, it was only 1 year.
That's a pretty good run in one territory for this time. Especially for a guy who's just starting.
I mean, it wasn't quite the anniversary, but it was pretty much the anniversary of his debut was his last match. He started towards the end of August.
And it was time. It's time for him to go. And that's the thing. That's the way this used to fucking work. The way it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
Go away when you're done and come back later.
In his painted-on jorts. Not entirely sure he ever got those things off. It's possible that his red tights just cover them up now.
I still think that he turned to communism because it was the only way he could get some tights and trunks that fit.
There you go. Oh, Lord. So next week, we're going to have a complete report on the Midnight Express Fantastic situation and a special film clip as to why Jim Cornette is wearing a mask.
Finally.
Question.
And
Did you notice the red telephone on the desk?
I did not.
It was like towards Bill, and I noticed because like the bell was sitting in the middle, and then off to the TV right was a red phone. I'm like, why the hell is there a red phone on the desk?
And most importantly, Boyd Pierce will be back next week.
Yes. Although he could be with Joel, so who knows?
Yeah.
I imagine the red phone is on the desk in case, former Mid-South president Charlie Lay has to call in with a ruling.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah.
Because he's at home watching these shows 2 weeks after they occur, and he's like, maybe I need to call in Bill to let him know what to do. And the people at the Boys Club are confused as to why this old man in Florida are calling on a Saturday afternoon.
Maybe he watches the last show when the tapings for the next show are happening. So if there's something that he needs to react to, he can call right then. But then it's a week out of date.
See, I think that would be hilarious to just have next week Jim Cornette is talking about the Fantastics, and suddenly Charlie Lay calls, disgusted that Crusher Darsow lost that match, and thus is kicked out of Mid-South.
Yes.
All right, so let's go to the intro of World Class Championship Wrestling. It's a short show this week, and we'll find out why in 35 seconds.
Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling from downtown Dallas, Texas, at the world-famed Sportatorium. It's great to have you along. I'm Bill Mercer, and our main event is a powerful, crunching match featuring the former World Heavyweight Champion, Kerry Von Erich from Denton County, Texas, and Devastation Incorporated's terrible Mongolian Killer Khan. This one will explode all over this arena. In addition, Chief Strongbow is going to be on hand. Also, Buck Zumhoff and the Iceman, and many more of the world's greatest wrestlers right here on World Class Wrestling. We'll be back with the encore match. That's Kevin Von Erich and Gino Hernandez next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I lied. It was actually 45 seconds, not 35 seconds.
How dare you lie into the listener?
I hope the listener can forgive me for that. But yeah, this week we're going to have a powerful, crunching match with Kerry versus Khan. And not to spoil things and to give it away, but that was both powerful and crunching.
Indeed.
Yep. Plus, we're going to have the world's greatest wrestlers and Buck Zumhoff are all on this show.
And Joel Strongbow.
See, I was including him in the world's greatest wrestlers. It's not as funny if I say the world's greatest wrestlers and 2 or 3 other people.
Look, if it wasn't for the other thing, Joel Strongbow would offend me more than Buck Zumhoff. But there is the other thing, so it's irrelevant.
Yes. Joel Strongbow would offend me more than Grizzly Smith if it wasn't for the other thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, this week we have 2 things. We have an encore match and a Buck Zumhoff match. Despite that, we do have a little bit more to talk about than we did a couple of weeks ago when this last happened, because sadly we don't have Jake Roberts taking 30 seconds to have his match, during the show. But still,
would have been better.
We cut off 20 minutes of the show, which is always not a bad thing. So after the encore match, we have Iceman Parsons versus Kelly Kiniski in a dandy. Now, they announced, Drunk Mark Lawrence announces that the referees today are Rick Hazard and Bronco Lubeck. And, where is David Manning Von Erich, which made me take a clip that I accidentally played at the beginning of the show, which was...
What's keeping him? Gee, I hope something horrible happened to him.
Okay, did you notice because David Manning wasn't there on the show, but at the beginning of the show, the shot of the Sportatorium that they showed, it was a shot with David Manning standing in the ring in his fucking red referee shirt.
I did not notice, but I just now went back to look, and yes, it's. I can't believe that they would air an old footage of the ring there like that.
How dare they?
If you can't trust our crack world-class production staff to take a live shot of the ring with nobody standing in it, what can you trust?
So I have a problem here, and for once, it's not about Parsons selling. It's the fact that Mercer said that Stella Mae French cost Gino Hernandez the American title. No, she did not. Gino Hernandez's imagination cost him the American title.
Gino Hernandez's paranoia cost him the American title.
Yeah. Yes.
Which, see, I thought you were going to say something else pissed you off. Or not maybe not pissed you off, but, got your dander going.
Yeah. What was that?
Bill Mercer announces that the biggest show ever is coming to San Antonio. It's so big that a committee of people is in charge of putting together the talent for this show. And I'm sitting here like 3 months ago, we had the David Von Erich Memorial Parade of Champions that drew 32,000 people. I can almost guarantee this show in San Antonio is not bigger than that.
Oh, no. It was actually so big that it took them 13 years to make it happen, and it was Royal Rumble 97.
Even then, they had to give away 15 or 16,000 tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Kiniski was fucking around and found out as Iceman rolled him up for the win. That's all I had to say about this match.
This was a professional wrestling match.
Yes, it was, with a winner and a loser.
And a clean pin. Inside cradle, 1, 2, 3.
Yep. Well, then we have something shocking. Babyface Chris Adams has a new manager, and it's somebody we're all familiar with, and it's not somebody who's typically a beloved, fair, impartial man. Let's go to Bill Mercer to discuss this.
Gary Hart, our man from Chicago. Gentleman Chris Adams, our man from England. I understand you have some big news.
I do, Bill, and especially for everybody out there. The big news is that Gary Hart and myself have signed along the dotted line. We've formed a contract. He is now officially to be my advisor. Now, I know you people out there might think Gary Hart, but I thought the same too. And I know that in some areas he's liked and some areas he's disliked, but I trust him to be my manager and advisor.
All right, if they do say Gary Hart, what are you going to answer? What are you going to do as an advisor?
I'm going to tell them that everybody I've ever been associated with has went straight to the top. The great Kabuki, Gino Hernandez, the spoiler, and the list goes on and on. But I don't think any of these men had the attributes that this young man, Chris Adams, has. And next week, right here on World Class Championship Wrestling, Skandor Akbar, to prove my point. One, Christopher Adams is going to wrestle Chauncey Wild Bill Irwin. So we're going to find out, Skandor, if your mouth is as bad as your breath seems to be. Because next week on World Class Championship Wrestling, you are going to be mine, Skandor Akbar, and Wild Bill Chauncey's going to be his. Believe it.
We'll watch it. Thank you, Gary Hart. Thank you, Chris Adams. Well, you know, when you talk about a pair, one of the most interesting pair is those pretty young things. Now, they think they're beautiful. I'm not sure we could agree, but there's one thing they do like. It's Michael Jackson and his pretty young thing. Let's watch.
Okay. I'd like to think Chris Adams' reaction, he's like, Gary Hart, that's how he legitimately reacted when Ken Mantell told him who his new manager would be.
He probably realized that he needed representation after he went to Oklahoma City to wrestle Mid-South affiliated wrestler and got cheated.
Yes. It was really a Mid-South town, even though it's a fairly neutral site, is Oak City.
Yeah. Well, okay. Was it no? It wasn't Oak City or Tulsa. It was like other Oklahoma towns that Fritz owned part of, right? Or did Fritz own part of Oak City and Tulsa?
I don't know if he really did.
He owned part of some of the towns in like southern Oklahoma that was like part deal with Watts because they had been his towns that Watts took over. But if I'm remembering right, it wasn't Tulsa or Oak City.
Probably not. Anyway, so Gary Hart notes he's taken everybody he's ever managed to the top. And next week, Akabar is going to find this out when one Christopher Adams wrestles Chauncey. And I had to laugh not just because it's one Christopher Adams, but because it's obvious Gary Hart has not watched this show since he left, because Bill Irwin has not been Chauncey since right after Gary Hart left.
I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares either. However, I did feel bad for Scott Hall Irwin because if two Christopher Adams wrestled, then Chauncey could team with his brother. We're only going to get one Christopher Adams.
Gary Hart is a great talker. He needs to give up the ghost to that hair already. It's a bad comb over.
Yeah. I was thinking about that while watching this now. Like, oh man, he's trying to get those wisps of hair to cover up the bald spot. Did you ever read Gary Hart's book?
I have not.
It's a good read, but by the end of the book, you're sitting here like, okay, the end of this book shows me that Gary Hart could kick everybody's ass, and that this was written in like 2004 when Vince and Dusty or when Dusty was booking TNA, because the only two people he put over on the entire book were Vince and Dusty.
Wow.
Even though I'm pretty sure he never worked for Vince. But yeah, you could figure that out. He's at one point in the book, he's like, "Oh yeah, I watch Raw and SmackDown every week, and I love it." And like Dusty's the only booker he ever talks about that he doesn't talk about how he could kick his ass.
Wow. What do you say about Ken Mantell?
I don't remember. Probably that he could kick Ken Mantell's ass.
I would think so.
I mean, I bet he probably could kick Ken Mantell's ass. That one picture I saw of Ken Mantell, he didn't look very tough. His brother would probably try to put him in a 10-minute time limit match, but yeah. Did you watch the PYT music video? I'll be honest, I skipped it because it's the Peacock version, so we're getting the dubbed over audio, which takes away the goodness of it.
I watched just enough of it to appreciate that at least they used footage from their own territory for their PYT video and didn't just re-air the Memphis video, which it would have made more sense to do that here because they are heels here.
Oh well, it's like the two territories don't know what they're doing entirely. All right. So next week, including the one Christopher Adams match, it'll be Kevin and Kerry versus Khan and Max.
Now that sounds like a Lulu.
Yes, no word on if Max changes his name to something that starts with a K, so we'll get a total alliteration.
I don't think we want that particular alliteration.
I think that would be a good name for the episode next week. Total alliteration.
That's really good. Yeah. Okay. What if to team with Killer Khan? What if Admiral Akbar brought in Killer Carl Cox?
There you go. I like that the general has been either promoted or demoted to Admiral.
No, there's a Star Wars character named Admiral Akbar.
I know enough to know that.
General and Admiral are equivalent ranks, Arya. General is Army and Admiral is Navy.
I'm sorry, Van Hammer. I'm not aware of all of the military rank. By the way, speaking of which, literally, and I swear to you, and I can screenshot this for you, I wrote Killer Khan with General Skandor Akbar versus Kerry Von Erich. How did Skandor Akbar become a general? Did Private Skandor Akbar show something from the start that made his superior officers understand his future?
He bought a commission from the Shah of Iran, I assume, or whoever he's associated with.
That's possible. By the way, in case you're wondering, the middle part of this was the Buck Zumhofe rule that we ixnayed 13 minutes of the show for.
Yeah.
So Kerry got on the stomach claw, but Trae, he's no bruiser bedlam. So Khan just raked his eyes and got out of it.
I wrote, Khan tries to force the spike on Kerry, but Kerry responds with the iron claw to the belly, and somewhere a young Johnny Bedlam was watching.
Now, I worry for young Killer Khan because when he gets invited to his family's Thanksgiving parties or Thanksgiving dinners, does he go to Nick's house or Tony's house?
He probably has dinner with his son, Grado.
Tremendous.
Not that Grado. The Grado Khan.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. I like that in this world, his middle name is O, and like his last name is not O Khan, it's Khan, and his middle name is O.
Well, that's the way they fucking render it.
Well, it's O hyphen, isn't it?
It is great hyphen O hyphen Khan for some reason.
I never saw the hyphen after the great.
It is when they render it in when they render it in English, it doesn't look like it in the katakana.
So Max ran in for the disqualification.
Sure
say
did.
what you want about, being another world-class finish with, a DQ, but the fans went absolutely nut for Kerry putting the claw on Max. And then we get a 2-on-1 beatdown on Kerry, and even though last week we showed he was back from Arizona, Kevin did not bother making the save for his brother, instead letting referee Rick Hazard make the save. I think I smell some family drama.
Well, this was a different taping, so maybe Kevin got stuck in Phoenix again.
New Mexico is on the other side of Arizona, right? It's in between Arizona and Texas, right?
Yeah, yes.
So
New
it's
Mexico's
possible
between Arizona and Texas.
Yeah, it's possible that Kevin was trying to get back from Arizona, but was now stuck in New Mexico.
What if he went to Old Mexico by mistake?
God damn it. Poor bastard. All right, and that was how World Class went off the air.
No, it went off the air with Bill Mercer saying, "Order the David Von Erich book." Bye. Not exactly, but that was the sentiment conveyed. Call Stephen P. New. I'm not doing the rest.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, that's World Class for this week. A inoffensive episode, although we didn't get any Gino, but I guess, hey, we're setting up inadvertently the dynamic duo because, spoiler alert, Gary Hart is not a babyface.
I am shocked.
I am gobsmacked that our young mafioso is a bad guy.
Oh, early in the Kerry and Killer Khan match, the crowd chanted, "We want Kerry," when Kerry was in fact in the ring wrestling. So I don't think these people are very smart.
Mm-hmm. It's possible they couldn't tell the difference and thought it was like Kevin or something.
You can tell the difference between Kerry and Kevin. They're not even shaped the same.
Well, one doesn't wear shoes.
Maybe they thought it was Mike.
Well, come on. Kerry and Kevin aren't shaped the same way, but Kerry and Mike are.
At least Mike is shaped similar to Kevin. He's just smaller.
Exactly. Oh, lordy, 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 lordy. Let's see. Apparently AJ got shoved on her ass tonight on Raw.
Oh.
Uh,
Is that the first bump she's taken, or?
yes, according to
Oh.
somebody on Twitter, anyway.
They haven't done a mixed tag yet?
The mixed
I thought they
tag
were...
is this Saturday.
Okay, okay. I thought, okay. There we go.
So apparently, and I'm surprised by this because, well, I don't know. I think wrestling fans tend to be smarter these days by and large, because there's more access to everything online, so that it's hard to surprise people and that all that fun shit. Apparently, there's news that there's going to be a lot of people upset because they think Wrestlepalooza is going to be airing for free on regular ESPN because I guess they haven't really done a great job of explaining that it's the ESPN streaming service and not just ESPN.
Well, yeah. I would expect some people to be confused, but like a small number, the Facebook group wrestling commenter level people will be surprised and confused.
Let's see. So how are you doing on modern day wrestling? I know we were talking yesterday, or maybe the day before, where you were on the B block finals of the G1.
That is where I am in the G1. I watched the Dynamite the same day, and then I had to watch Mid South and World Class yesterday, and then I didn't watch anything today because I was busy all day, and I'm going to be busy all day tomorrow, so I have to find some time to watch Smoky Mountain.
So, and that's actually why I watched Smoky Mountain tonight because I got to go to the office tomorrow, and then after work is Silent Book Club, so I'm not going to get home until after 8 o'clock. So it's like I needed to watch it tonight because I wouldn't be able to today or tomorrow. Pardon me.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it tonight, and I'm so fucking tired.
But it's a fine episode by and large.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. It is certainly the 120th episode of Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
It sure is. The 120th. It's.
Yep, and after that show will be 120 down, 80 to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, my book is coming along well. My editor, who I was worried didn't get my deadline, has apparently realized that it's September 15th, and so he's been picking up on the editing. He is currently editing my WrestleMania 9 report. So we only have about 6 or 7 shows left for him to go through, and then we'll be ready to go.
So do we have a release date?
It's currently scheduled for October 1st.
All right. Can't wait.
Neither can I. I enjoy when our good friend Jeff Bezos has to give me money.
Yeah, all $13 or whatever.
Yes. And occasionally it's $14, but yeah.
Oh, how about that?
If I came on this show and yelled at you that I didn't kill my wife, you would think I killed my wife, wouldn't you? Even though I don't have a wife.
I mean, if you just brought it up out of nowhere, I would assume that you had some kind of guilty conscience that you were grappling with.
I mean, that's perfectly understandable, you know? So, ladies and gentlemen, don't announce that you killed your wife, that you didn't kill your wife, because we will believe that you, in fact, did kill your wife.
I didn't kill my wife because she's still alive.
Good. Good. I just got a message saying, do questions bother you? If they did, then you saying that would be bothering me.
Well, I'm glad that we don't have that problem.
Yes. I went to an indie show over the weekend on a date, and it's like an hour north of where I live, and so it's a completely different indie company with mostly new wrestlers, except there was like Jora Johl, who's a regular down this way and is actually a former. He was under contract to AEW in a way that like most people didn't realize he was under contract to AEW until he got let go. He was mostly on Dark and Elevation.
He was part of the Matt Hardy family office.
Yeah, like he was one of the extras that I don't think I legit don't think he ever wrestled on TV, but he's somebody that saying I trained with him is a very, very loose definition of that word, but him and I were in the same building when I attempted to train.
Oh, well, how about that?
Yes, he turned heel on poor Wrecking Ball Legursky.
Oh, is
And of
Wrecking
course,
Ball Legursky okay?
I don't know. He didn't come out for the rest of the show. So,
Oh, well, no.
yeah. Um, and whatchamacallit, and the funny thing, of course, is it's independent wrestling, and it's an hour away from here. So when he's going to be wrestling here on October 3rd, he's, to the best of my knowledge, still a babyface.
Technically true is the best kind of true.
Yes, yes. You got to love independent wrestling, and it's like I remember when the first time I went to the WrestleCrap website. I forget if he still has it up there now, but he used to have RD used to have an FAQ, and one of them was, "Well, why don't you ever induct this random independent gimmick or whatever?" And I was like, "That's because the guy who's playing your crappy gimmick in this town is playing a completely different crappy gimmick in another town, 50 miles away, that is blissfully unaware of that."
Yeah, makes sense. You want to know
Actually,
my favorite? I'm
Mhm.
sorry, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to complain about Botchamania because, like, I was never a fan of Botchamania, including independent wrestling clips, because that's when you're supposed to be learning. Like, not saying it's okay to, like, kill yourself or whatever on an indie show, but it's like, if I'm having a match in front of 30 people that just happens to be put up on YouTube and I fucked something up, I'll be honest, I'd be pretty pissed if it's like, oh, let's everyone mock this person on Botchamania now for messing up that spot.
Yeah, that's the one problem with like any wrestling of note being like streamed now is that nobody gets to learn in the same way anymore, and the business is poorer for it.
I mean, I agree. And not everybody is like me, and like I'm not a, as we all know, I'm not a I can only watch WWE kind of person. But for the most part, I can't watch independent wrestling. Like I need at least a little bit of production value, just a little bit. I don't need billion-dollar production things, but like, I was watching I forget what show it was, but I was watching some indie show on YouTube, and it was like they did not sync up the audio and video very well. Like the audio like was way too loud, like the announcing audio, pardon me, the track was way too loud for the rest of it, and it was like just horribly distracting.
You remember, like, well, you've watched a lot of them lately. Those fucking early Ring of Honor DVDs with Prazak instead of
Yep.
like he was screaming.
Oh, I haven't even gotten to Prazak yet. I'm still at Gabe fawning over Alexis Lurie, which is
Oh,
it was creepy when he's just the lead announcer. It's even creepier when you know that he's also the booker.
yeah, yeah.
And like, I don't know if they ever really were a couple. I don't know if I don't know if that would actually make it any better or not. But like, he's just so fucking creepy, like drooling over poor Mickey James.
I believe you. I've never seen it, but I believe you.
But yeah. By the way, the person has not yet responded after I said that no questions do not bother me.
Well, maybe they'll come back.
I did you like when I watched World Class of Mid South this week? I'm like, why am I watching this so soon? We don't have to do this for another week. And I'm like, oh yeah, because like we just did the two Mid South World Class shows last week. It's like almost like, man, this is I don't know if it was a bad idea or not, but yeah, uh, it was a lot. But yeah, by the looks of it, I haven't really looked ahead to see if we're missing any episodes. It looks like we may not. We'll catch up maybe on Christmas Eve because there's no TNA show on Christmas and New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So that may be the time to squeeze in an extra show.
Watch extra Mid South for Christmas.
Yep. Merry Christmas from Shreveport. I we'll see. In fact, we may. Who knows? I guess because World Class always runs a big show on Christmas, so we'll see what it ends up being.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else. Is there anything else to talk about here? Nothing I can think of. There's nothing else going on in the world of wrestling.
Do you want to hear my favorite technically true fact that doesn't actually mean anything?
Yes.
My fourth great grandfather served in the same Civil War regiment as one of John Brown's sons.
Interesting.
They were not in the regiment at the same time, but it was the same regiment. Seventh Kansas Cavalry. Yes. I was born and raised in Arkansas, but my father's line, my direct male line, did not come to Arkansas until like the 1910s. So yeah, all of my Civil War ancestors were rebels except for my direct male line, who was in the same Union Cavalry Regiment as Solomon Brown, I think was his name. Or no, I can't remember. I can't remember which son. John Brown had like 20 kids.
One of John Brown's kids.
Yeah.
Oh,
true story.
So that was neat, I would say.
Yeah.
By the way, congrats to Nigel McGuinness and his partner for expecting a child. I assume that means they're having a child and actually expecting a child to exist or something.
Well, Arya, you and I expect children to exist, so are we expecting a child?
Probably not, no. I guess that makes sense because I'm 40, but I'm like, when I just read that Nigel's 49, I'm like, wow, that's I'm a little surprised by that somehow.
Well,
I don't know why, but yeah.
Yeah, that's how time works.
I remember, and this is partially like this is before Nigel got really good, but also keeping in mind the what company he's in and he's wrestling and what the situation is. The first time I think I saw Nigel wrestling was on the pre-show for TNA Genesis 2005, and he was wrestling Shark Boy.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm like, this match kind of sucks. But it's like, it's Shark Boy. There's nothing wrong with Shark Boy. He's perfectly adequate. But like I say tomorrow on the TNA show, you wonder how many bookings he would have gotten without the wacky gimmick.
Not many. Yeah, I never saw. I'm sorry. I have never seen like pre Ring of Honor Nigel, but like I remember Ryan and Vinny always saying because they used to watch like HWA that apparently he was the shits for like a long time.
Yes. B, it was a pay-per-view pre-show match, and C, that was the day Eddie Guerrero died.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah. So it's possible that kind of stuff clouded, the whole, well, great, TNA is happening now. It also, like, was not that great of a show either. Like, it had some good stuff, but it's like...
It was a show where Christian debuted, right?
Yeah. And the main event was Jarrett and AMW versus Rhino and your bestie, Bully Ray, and his bestie, Devon.
Yeah, yes it was.
And that was the Samoa Joe heel turn, where he turned on... Did he turn on Christopher Daniels? Yeah, I guess he turned on Christopher Daniels, which turned Christopher Daniels heel. I'm sorry, turned Christopher Daniels babyface, even though he was a heel, and turned Samoa Joe heel, even though Samoa Joe was more of a face-leaning tweener than anything else.
I just assumed that he came in as a heel. I didn't really know.
He didn't really have a delineation. Like, he was just coming in and beating up random people, and I guess it was never really acknowledged, but it was just kind of assumed he was a babyface.
Well, All right then, I believe you.
People generally liked him, if I recall correctly. And that was the first time that he officially had a distinction. And what killed, not so much killed the heel turn, but killed either the next match or the match after that, was Samoa Joe turned on Christopher Daniels. AJ Styles ran in, and Joe snickered at him and walked away. And then AJ came out to wrestle Petey Williams for the X Division title. And it was like, well, this is really anticlimactic because we just set up AJ defending the title against Joe, but now we have to pretend that Petey Williams has a shot at winning.
Yeah. Not good match order.
No. Blame good old Scott D'Amore.
D'Amore.
And I think the reason why, and I'd have to go back and look at the actual match order, but like the main event was a 6-man, and I think AJ versus PD was the semi-main, and then right before that was the Samoa Joe Christopher Daniels thing, but it was like in a Survivor Series X Division match, and so like I guess they probably didn't want to end the show with back-to-back multi-man tags.
Just fucking put AJ and PD on first.
Yeah, but then what would you have had wedged in there? That was also, I think,
anything. It doesn't fucking matter.
Monty Brown. That was when they kept putting Monty Brown in #1 contenders matches, and he never got a title shot. And he took on, I'm pretty sure he took on Jeff Hardy on that show, and that may have been the in between match. And like it sucked so much.
Okay, here's the match order. Okay, the pre-show was Shark Boy over Nigel McGuinness and the Diamonds in the Rough over Lance Hoyt and the Naturals. Then the pay-per-view was Raven against PJ Polacco, just incredible. Three Live Crew.
If you would have made me guess, I would have thought it was Chris K. But I think Chris K was the next month.
Yeah. 3 Live Crew against Team Canada in a hockey stick fight with Kip James as a special guest referee. Monty Brown over Jeff Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Team Ministry, Alex Shelley, Christopher Daniels, Roderick Strong, and Samoa Joe defeated Austin Aries, Chris Sabin, Matt Bentley, and Sanjay Dutt in an Elimination X match.
That was not the real name for that team.
I don't know.
I don't know where you're reading that off of, but
it's on Wikipedia. Abyss defeated Sabu in an ODQ match. AJ Styles defeated Petey Williams to retain the X Division title. And then Rhino and Team 3D defeated Jeff Jarrett in America's Most Wanted. So they could have put AJ and Daniels on first and then done Abyss and Sabu as a semi-main.
AJ and Petey, you mean. But
yes,
that Abyss Sabu match led to the Abyss Sabu Barbed Wire Massacre match.
That they had to tape in Orlando because they couldn't do it at wherever they did the pay-per-view in North Carolina.
Wrong one. You're thinking of Abyss and Judas Macias.
Oh,
Abyss
okay.
Sabu, because that pay-per-view was in Orlando.
Yeah, okay, you're right. My bad.
Never doubt my TNA knowledge. But actually, it's funny because I say that, and then I'm going to tell you that I would have gotten a second thing wrong because I thought that was the 4 Live Crew match, which ended with Conan turning on BG and Kip. But that was the next one.
Yeah, that led to LAX. That turned out to be good.
Yep. Even though like the first run of it was Homicide and I think Machete, and like the first match between VKM and LAX, Kip James being 8.5 feet tall mocked his opponents for not being 8.5 feet tall.
That I can't imagine that William Gunn would do such a thing.
I can't believe Senor Ass would be mean to
somebody. I am so disappointed that they've never done. They need to create some pretext where like somebody calls Colton or Austin Mr. Ass and they go, "Oh no, Mr. Ass is my father."
I'm shocked that has not happened. They brought back Being the Elite. I'd be shocked that doesn't happen on there at some point.
I can hope.
All right. So I think we've stretched this long enough. What do you think?
That's what she said?
That is what she said. So we're going to call it a day here. I got to wake up at 6 a.m. tomorrow to go to the fucking office. Yeah, tomorrow night show will be fun with me being grumpy and tired.
I'm also going to be grumpy and tired tomorrow, so that's going to be a Lulu.
Oh, boy. Tune in Thursday for perhaps the worst show we ever do, because we'll be sniping at each other the whole time. And
that may be when the show is good.
Tune in for Trey flipping out about well done. Because they'll be like, motherfucking well done. Like, this is not the fucking day I wanted to watch well done.
Okay. Oh, can't wait. Can't wait.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you again in or around 7 days.
Bye.